First order of business was to swear in a new member, and apparently not here, so we'll pass over that. Proceed to the minutes. Everybody received a copy of the minutes of the last meeting?
Yes.
Entertain a motion in regards to the minutes.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any opposed? Okay, passed. Comments? Any comments or concerns from persons present today? Hearing none, move on to supervising special investigator Hamel with her investigative report.
Yes,
Department.
hang on a second, and no, it's just supervising.
I know, it's just, that was for the people
Yeah,
that weren't.
no, that's a Mesner thing.
Well,
So hang on.
and while you're looking at Janita, I just did receive from Rochelle this morning your report with I believe it was seven items. Maybe
Yeah.
eight items. I guess 8. So we can discuss that too, if that's what you were going to bring up, if you have anything.
Yeah, no, that there's, we got one new between November 1st, 2024 and December 31st of 2024, we got one new file in, and there were 8 files that were closed. So, and just so you know that we've had some issues with some of our reports that we've been running. And on a monthly basis, I'm getting a list of ancient files that are showing up in Mr. Cohen's reports as being still open. So I'm going back in and looking at stuff, and whatever action item that wasn't closed, that kept the file open, we're closing it. So there will be some older file numbers, and it's not just your board, sir. I've had some from 2013, 2014 that I've had to explain to other boards that as these reports come in, Director Brown and I and the commissioners, I'm not quite sure what Ashley's correct title is, but she's on it, and then I have to go through and see what we have and make sure that it's closed. So that's that. Any questions just in general?
Well, I have
a general question too.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I do too.
Looks like Kevin's.
Go ahead, Dave.
Which
Kevin?
Kevin?
I have a question.
Kevin Griffith.
Kevin
Oh.
Griffith.
Okay.
You want me to go first?
Yes, go.
Yep.
Kevin Griffith, please.
Okay. Good morning, Janita. How you doing today? Quick
Not too
question
bad.
for you. Good, thank you.
Sure.
When you have, for a lack of a better word, a repeat offender, or people, or a contractor or an individual that appears often on your list there, do you have a policy or something that you watch them more often, or is it a situation where you just have so many people, you go on to the next one, and if any happens to reappear, you just deal with it on a one-to-one basis? You know what I'm saying?
Sir, every complaint that we receive is definitely on a case-by-case situation. And I would hazard a guess that you're talking about Bill Wells, correct?
You read my mind.
We had this conversation when we had the meeting in person downstairs at 450, your last meeting, and it came up. And this particular closed file was in process at that time when I believe it was Kevin Wipachowski,
Mhm.
who had made the comment about him being, seeing his name quite a bit. So this particular assurance of voluntary compliance was already in process with that investigator that was assigned, who was dealing with Mr. Wells and Mr. Wells's attorney. So the inspectors and I will pay much closer attention should his name come up, and then discuss with the legal department about how to proceed moving forward with him.
Okay, thank you for your answer.
Quite welcome.
Kevin Wipchowski, you had a question?
Yeah, Janita, to Kevin's point, is there a way that you could like red flag repeat offenders and just bring them to our attention before they go to ACV or AVC?
Here, when a file is open, we can't tell the board because there's always the possibility that they will be the subject of a report that's in legal. So we can't discuss open files with any board,
Okay.
not just your board, sir. It's all the boards, because in the event, and just so you know, I will, when we get new complaints and stuff, as I'm assigning it to the different investigators, I will note to them that this is a repeat offender and they have priors, and that we need to discuss the file more. However, I was out for 7 months on medical leave when some of the newer inspectors received and worked through some of Mr. Wells's files over the summer. That was brought up as a discussion at the in-person meeting that we had, which was your last meeting. So no, I do note when files come in, or we do an inspection and they come back and say, hey, I see that there might be, and I'll have to explain to them, yes, and this is what we're going to do, this is how we do it, and this is what we do moving forward. So we do note it. The problem is I can't tell the boards up front about open files.
I think my concern is they keep signing these agreements to voluntarily comply, but then they don't. And there's no harm, no foul to them for not complying. So it's got no teeth.
Here's the thing. Again, this was discussed at your last meeting. We are aware of your concern with this person. And moving forward, will be looked at much differently to make sure they do comply. I can't answer for all of the assurances of voluntary compliance that went out this summer. They went out, they were signed, and we're moving forward. And we take your board's concern, yours and Kevin Griffiths and Mr. Chairman's and everybody else's concerns moving forward to
and not
look
to
at it
single out
another way.
Not to single out one license holder, just in general. I think that we should have some kind of a scale of violations where if say there's 5 or 10 violations in a 5-year period, that becomes egregious. It's not just a voluntary compliance anymore. It's beyond that. And maybe we need a hearing with the person.
Oh yeah. No, we're well aware of that, and that's how we look at things. The MOU and the statute spell out the first offense, second offense, third offense, and DCP legal guides us from there.
Oh, okay. So there is a system already in place.
Oh yeah, it's
for repeat offenders. Okay.
Yeah, it's in the statute too. You've got your first offense, your second offense, third offense, every subsequent offense, and that's on fine money. But it's also how the department looks at.
Right, and now that you're back off leave, that'll tighten up that whole loophole a little bit.
Yes.
Got it.
So.
Thank you.
Yes. Oh no. You're welcome. Mr. Chairman, did you have a question too, sir?
Well,
I'm
I,
sorry, Kevin, are you done?
Yeah, I'm all set. Thanks.
well,
Okay,
Janita, I have several. And
okay,
having just received this report this morning, not having been able to look back and, again, one of my concerns is the repeat offender that's been brought up by two board members,
yeah,
and myself.
yeah,
The first item there, I'm looking at Michael Yusakevich,
yeah,
dated 2016. It just got
yeah.
closed after 9 years.
Sir, I told you, some of these files are showing up on a report that we're getting kicked back to me saying that it's not closed. So I've got to go in and close these files. And I'm not a tech wizard. I don't know why. I've had to close 2013 files, 2012 files, 2014 files. I don't know what is going on with the system, and I get a list and I have to go through and look at all of them. And some of those things on that list go back to stuff that Howard Osden was working on that the inspectors and I had nothing to do with. But I have to close it. And I think Manager Mesner might have an answer for you.
Yeah, thank you, Jay. Mr. Chair and the board, just so everybody's on the same page. This is not just what Janita's referring to is not just relevant to occupational. This is the entire agency. The commissioner, when he came in, had an initiative to go through, review agency-wide all cases. For some reason, some of these cases are still showing as open, even though they've been closed by in this case, the Occupational Enforcement Unit. So these are matters that may have come before in a previous report, but for some reason, within our e-licensing system, we're still showing as open. So this is not just, again, it's not just occupational enforcement, it's everything that the department regulates. We're trying to go through and clean the system up. So you may see, like Ms. Hamill had alluded to, some cases showing up that will show an older age, and that's just because the fact that they still showed as open in the system, even though they've had a resolution to it previously. Excuse me.
Okay, but in this particular, the first one there, the failure to display contractor license number, for all the years I've been on the board, I said that's a minor offense. I mean, that was one we even said didn't have to come before the board because it's not a harm to the consumer that somebody forgot to put their license number on a business card, or it's like a technicality. But when I'm looking at the failure to maintain proper records, I mean, this again, I'm going back into my memory banks, and this particular individual, I mean, I read the papers. There was articles in the paper where this individual went to prison for I don't say license violations, but whether it was DOL and other things. I guess my question is, how thorough was the investigation? Because it says it was unresolved dispute of facts. So it's like the he said, she said. Did you do it? No, I didn't do it. Okay, that's a dispute of facts. So okay, we'll just dismiss the charges.
Sir?
Yeah, I'm listening.
As you pointed out, that's 9 years old. It came back showing up as open. And that was under Director Maloney's time frame, and I don't have an answer for you. I'm terribly sorry.
No, I'm just saying.
And I need you to, we investigate every complaint that comes in.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? We have to have evidence that we can pull from them, from their attorney, from our records to be able to put forth a file and get it either to an assurance of voluntary compliance or to a report that goes to the legal department, and then it goes either to your board or another board. Okay? Every file and every complaint that we get does get investigated.
I'm not disputing that, Janita. I'm just saying I mean, just got this report this morning. I haven't
I,
had time. I'm going to have questions regarding some of these.
yeah, no,
and-
I understand that. But
So, all right. So I guess, we'll chalk this one up to, it, it's housekeeping. It's been closed and, unfortunately it's after 9 years and, go from there. Okay. Next one on my question is, again, I see a name there, Christopher Ledbetter, and unlicensed, and I seem to recall his application. I'm trying to remember the name. These names come, come to mind like in the past, like either there was charges or was a license, application review, and it didn't pass or whatever. And his was, let's see, tough to read when these things are so small and try to fit on a piece of paper. It says unlicensed. So apparently he's the license holder or he had unlicensed people.
that, it doesn't say, it just says that was the allegation and that there was insufficient evidence to prove it, and the investigator closed it as file and monitor, that we're going to keep track of that particular person.
Okay. And moving on down the line. Bear with me a second. I'm not going to say my Ian Rankin. There's another name that's unlicensed. Now, when it says unlicensed, that means he has unlicensed people working for him, or it can't be that he's unlicensed because you can't charge somebody, right? That doesn't have a license.
I'm not, when it says unlicensed, that's the only option there. It'll say unlicensed, unregistered, or it's got working beyond the scope, working with an expired license. And these are the different issues, the alleged violations that get put into our computer tracking database. And then the investigator, the inspector, has to investigate the file and go through and see through all of it whether or not those allegations are found to be true allegations and need to be reported out.
So that doesn't necessarily mean the person who's named under the respondent is the unlicensed individual.
No, if
Okay.
they're the contractor of record for a company and they've got the F1 or the F3,
Okay.
they would be the person that would be listed as the respondent, because they might have had an unregistered person, an unlicensed person, or the allegation is that they do. And
Okay.
they have to respond to the inspector with, where's your licenses, where's your apprenticeship cards, was there a ratio issue? Because one of the problems could be that there was, they failed to keep the 1-to-1 job site ratio. So those are things that come in. Just like on Noel's file, it said he's unlicensed, unregistered, working beyond the scope. So they had to look at and find, were there people who were unlicensed or unregistered or working beyond the scope? And then count out, if it was, how many days were they there?
Okay.
What kind of information is the F1 Bill Wells, who's the contractor of record for his company, and his attorney providing to the inspector? So
and
the
last,
system,
okay,
the system, when we do an inspection or we get a complaint, it's depending on how it's entered, when they enter it online and it goes to the complaint center, at least if there's a person's name or their license number, my hope is always that the complaint center is going to use that person's F3 or their F1 or look up their name and not just type their name in and look to see if they actually have a license. Because sometimes it will show, well, you see how it says the board, sir, and it comes all the way down for FRP, fire protection? If the complaint center entered it without using their F1, F3 numbers, it would show as unassigned. It wouldn't even show it's a fire protection complaint. And then I and the inspectors have to search around and look to say, gee, you entered it wrong. But if they don't grab that F1 number, it will not pull in the fire protection information. It shows as unassigned. So the system has some inherent defects in it. We're aware of it, and unfortunately, the vendor will always tell DCP, oh, you want to fix that in your program. Oh, well, we're going to charge you this much money. And then it's like, how much money are they willing to spend to fix it? Because I looked at a bunch of reports yesterday, and I have all these unassigned files in there. They want to know, why are they unassigned? It's not that they're not assigned to somebody. If the complaint center didn't pull in a license number, it's not going to say what board it belongs to. It just says unassigned. Then I have to look and see, oh, does it maybe say here, the inspector came over and fixed it and showed, oh yeah, it's this Sean Martin and he's got a F1, but it will never ever fix the piece for the board where it says unassigned. And we've had that issue with this whole computer tracking database system since I was at 165, going back to 1999 when they decided to start going with this computerized system. And it just, they update it, but some parts of it just don't get updated. And you can't, if I was to go into that 2023 458 file and go in there and try to change it and add fire protection instead of unassigned, it will not let me do that. There's no way for me to get into update to do that. So,
okay.
you know,
Yeah,
anything else, sir?
yeah, lastly, Mr. Fellner, he's an F4 holder. And
Fellner.
number 2, the second one down, Fellner.
Okay.
And it says a civil matter. But, so, any elaboration on that? I mean, it was, you know, I mean, if he's an F4,
That-
you know.
Again.
I apologize, Janita, because like
No,
I said,
no,
these
no.
are going back several years. I mean, you know, it's
Right.
and
So
you're you know.
I would have to.
Dave, I think I got some memory on Mr. Fellner. His dad passed away, and he was using his license as the F3 holder, and then he got caught, and then he subsequently sold the business.
Oh, okay.
That was, yeah. I think he's out now. He sold it.
Well, I guess my question is, if it's a civil matter, there's more to it, and why was it closed? But I accept so that's,
yeah.
Thank you, Kevin. That's all I have to need. I just, like I say, we're just getting this morning, and there was several things popped up at me, and I'm saying to myself, my goodness, I says, after 9 years, you know, and I'm not faulting you, believe me, it's
Yeah. No.
Janita,
understand that.
I have one.
Hello,
Hi, Janita. I
Dave,
have
I
one more
totally
question.
understand it. And you have a, and you are, hello?
Yes, I'm here.
No, somebody said they had a question.
Kevin Wipachowski does.
Janita, I have a question.
Yeah.
Can you give us a report for the repeat offenders? Can you pull that like for a 10-year period of time?
For 10 years, no, because the statute of limitation for hanging on to records for record retention is only 7.
Okay, so 7 years. As long as you can go back in history, is that something you could produce?
I would have to talk to IT, and
Okay.
I would have to talk to Director Brown and the legal department to see how they want to proceed, because that's the request. So
Okay, great.
I would have to ask questions.
Understood.
Okay.
All right.
I just have one thing to add. This is Wayne. I know it's a little late, but Mr. Wells, just so investigators know, because we know he's a repeat offender, recently sold his business, and the new name's going to be Summit Fire and Security. So if we're keeping an eye on what's going on, it's just don't be fooled up if, it's a new name. He's still going to be pulling the license.
All right. No, thank you, Wayne. But we don't license companies. We license the people, and we go to websites, and we go to the Connecticut Secretary of State to see who's an officer, who's involved, go on the website, see what we can't find. So we will find out who's running the show for the new name. So thank you for the heads up.
No problem.
All right. Anything further for Inspector Hamel? No, thank you, Janita, for the report. Like I say, it was to get it this morning and to see that, and it's like, wow. I'm looking.
Okay.
That I
No, that's fine.
Yeah,
Not a problem.
Thank you.
Thanks, Janita.
You're welcome.
And you have a good day. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Moving right along, DCP Legal. Do we have anything?
I'm not seeing anybody from legal here, Mr. Chair.
Okay. I don't know. I don't know where Anthony Catalano is. All right. So no report. All right. Old business. Let's leave the backflow under old business just till we get something back from. I doubt it's going to go before the legislator, but hoping. Just under old business, there was a early in January. I think it was January. Correct me if I'm wrong, Rochelle, but there was a board process review. Myself and I believe Anthony Moscato attended. It was somewhat informative, so it was just to let the board members know it was open to everybody. A little lengthy, but they did discuss several topics. New business. Under new business, it said applications. Rochelle, are there applications or?
Nope, there were no applications for
Okay.
today.
All right, no, it just said the applications for review. I thought maybe there was one that had to go before the whole board. All right.
Under new business, I'd like to talk about one item.
Go ahead, Kevin.
I would like the board to consider for meetings going forward, the option to join via Teams. I'm requesting this because their DS is changing my personal, state vehicle usage. And I can no longer take my state vehicle to the office. It's considered a commute, and I have to take my personal vehicle. Um, with that being said, even though I'm coming to the office, would be coming to the office for an in-person meeting to assist a different agency, and I'm still performing state duties, the state's considering my usage of my state vehicle from the parking lot to 450 personal usage, and it's prohibited under DAS policy. So in the times where I'm in the office on days where meetings are scheduled, I'd be more than happy to attend in person. Or if a situation arises where I'm on the road and I can swing into the office to attend sprinkler board meetings, that's fine. But in certain cases where I'm not in a position to attend in person, I would like myself and any other member to attend any given meeting via Teams.
Well, I don't know if anybody that's present here today has an answer. I know in the past it's been brought up several times, Kevin, and then it's all or none. I don't know why they're taking that hardball stance. There's no they unless that's changed. Maybe Rochelle or John Mesner could enlighten on that. But I mean, I wholeheartedly I feel for you, and I can't believe that there would be a policy implemented like that. And it's ludicrous, but you're conducting state business, and unfortunately, the people that write the laws don't always have the best interest.
So it doesn't sound like you would support that.
No, I say I would support the hybrid meeting, but
Oh, okay.
oh, I'm not against it. No, I mean, I just think when we have the opportunity to have the in-person meetings, I mean, it's only twice a year. We should utilize that. And if you can attend under circumstances beyond your control, I think you should be afforded the opportunity to attend via Zoom or Teams, whatever platform they elect to use. But so I'd have to defer to somebody from the state to look.
I'll just go on and say that I'll look into it, and I can follow up, because it has been, to the chairperson's comment, the department's stance on it, that it was either hybrid or it was in person. But again, I'll also go on to say that in an avoidance to try to postpone meetings due to quorum issues, I will see what we could discuss internally, and I will follow up with you.
I appreciate that, John, because again, I mean, you can see we had a new member appointed, scheduled to be sworn in today, and not in here. I mean, we're still looking for a local fire marshal member. I think it's been well over 3 years since we've had representation from the local fire marshal, and again, circumstances beyond his control, personal issues, and not singling anybody out. It's again, and my old friend Tony Moscato, who's been here as long as I've been, and I know Tony would be here today, but I know he sent an email. He had a MRI scheduled for today. So I mean, it's like long as we have the quorum. I mean, the more the merrier. I'd appreciate it if we had full participation, and we still have a vacancy. I consider it 2 vacancies: the local fire marshal and a public member. So, but yeah, I know don't read anything. I'm not opposed to you sitting in an in-person meeting, via your laptop or your phone. And so thank you, John. I appreciate you looking into it and getting back to us on that.
Yeah, thank you, John.
Yep.
The next meeting is scheduled for, I think it's in May, is scheduled for in person. So anything further under new business?
Dave, what do you think of the idea of if we get an applicant, do we have a monthly online meeting?
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that, Kevin.
I'm sorry. if we have an applicant that we need to review the application, can we have a monthly schedule for that? So they don't have to wait as long,
Well, there,
like an
there-
online meeting just for applications.
Well, again, in the process that's been set up is they have a application review working group. It consists of John Mesner, Todd Birch, and somebody from the board. It's been since its inception, except for maybe one or two times, I've been participating in it. And those applications are reviewed, and there's a consensus, whether it's a majority to approve or deny. And if there's it's denied, then it does come before the board if it's appealed by the applicant. So there's nobody's being denied for the 3 months. It's an ongoing process. There was no applications this month. Or actually, I'm sorry, there's a meeting coming up, I think next week. But they are within every 30 days. So the applications are
great.
being reviewed.
Yeah.
Cool.
And just to
And-
further elaborate that, Mr. Chair, for Kevin's clarity, the applications come into licensing services, so we don't know when they're coming in. And then if we try to get as many in as possible. So we've even had a few days where they might have not been on our original agenda, but just in a timing effort, we try to hear them.
Yeah.
So the board meetings are already posted, and because they're posted and because they're identified as either in person or online, it's sometimes tough to make a last minute change if that application review
Gotcha.
working group and the board meeting are too close together. So
Yeah, I get it. Yeah. Well, that's it. Thanks.
And I'm not particularly fond of the procedure because as board chairman, if I sit there and review an application with the DOL and DCP, I've been instructed that I'm therefore have to recuse myself if it comes before the board because I have prior knowledge. I don't understand sometimes the thinking of the people that make these regulations. They're not laws or whatever, but they make regulations, and you have to recuse yourself. I mean, it's like, well, now you're tainted because you have prior knowledge. I can share the facts with the board that came up. I mean, there's no handcuffs putting on, John Mesner. If he's attending the board meeting, he can have input. Why is the delegate from the board singled out and told they can't participate in the subsequent meetings? So like I say, this all goes back to under Commissioner Harris when he had his memorandum of understanding. Goes back quite a few years, and a lot of it was to streamline, and I think some of it was to take away the teeth from the boards. The boards, I don't know. It's I don't think the boards have a stupendous power. They just try to do their job for the consumer.
Yep.
So anyhow, anything further on that under new business? Any other new business? Questions? Okay. Correspondence. I don't believe there's any correspondence.
Mr.
Yeah,
Chair,
but-
hold on 1 second. You just I want to just give Anthony an opportunity because I believe Anthony's on for questions when you said anybody here for the good. Anthony, do you want to make a comment? Are you here to discuss anything?
You speaking to Anthony Catalano?
Correct, sir.
No. I was just asked to. I was just informed to join because I'm currently applying for an F3. So I got an email from somebody saying if I would like to sit in and see what's discussed to do that.
Okay, so you have no questions for the board. You were just sitting in.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
You have any questions regarding the F3 there, Mr.
Well, no, it's
Go on.
getting a little complicated because I have licenses in other jurisdictions, and I'm working with the requirements that were considered for my Rhode Island license. So I'm trying to work through where the requirements for the journeyman's license for Rhode Island to submit back to Connecticut for approval.
I'm sure if you've been dealing with, Karen Lehman, I'm sure that's who you've been dealing with.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, Karen, yes.
She's,
yeah.
she's fully, very knowledgeable. She could point you in the right directions, give you the correct advice as far as, like, getting your equivalency, whether, whatever state you're applying, your license in it, that the requirements are the same as, or equivalent to, equal to, or better than Connecticut. Let's put it that way. So, like I say, you're in good hands with her helping, assisting you. So if
No,
any advice,
she's been very helpful, and her response time is unbelievable. So, but like I said, she had mentioned if, I'd wanted to sit through and see how you guys discuss things, to do it. That's why I'm here.
yes, well, I'm glad I didn't, actually, I saw the name there. I thought maybe you were from legal department or whatever. I didn't recognize the name, but
No legal.
Anthony, you mentioned a Rhode Island license. Do you have a contractor version of that license?
I have the journeyman's license for Rhode Island.
Okay. And did that Rhode Island license require any schooling to qualify for such?
Yeah, yes, it did. It did.
Okay. And have you looked on our website for your journey person in comparison to the F4 to see how they align? Is it the same scope of work that you have in Rhode Island that you would have for Connecticut?
Yes. It's for some reason Rhode Island's based more towards sprinkler, but that's those are the requirements I had to meet to get my journeyman's license in Rhode Island. And it's kind of weird because the license went through the fire marshal's office, but yet the requirements were through the state board license.
So, but Anthony, you're, if I can call you Anthony, if it's not a problem.
Yeah, fine.
You're licensed in Rhode Island, but that's a limited, I don't want to refer to the hood system, but I mean, it's like, it's not an unlimited license as far as wet systems, dry systems, and, the entire sprinkler category that a F2 in Connecticut covers.
Right. Not sprinkler. No, it's just wet chemical, dry
Oh,
chemical,
okay, yeah.
clean agent. Yep.
It's not a sprinkler journeyman's license that you carry. Okay, just,
No, I don't do
Alright.
sprinkler. I don't do sprinkler.
okay, yeah, just hoods and dry chemical and et cetera. Okay, well, like I
Karen's a
said,
good contact.
yep, excellent. You're in good hands, like I said. She's, she'll steer you in the right direction, and like, I mean, when you said her response time, I know how she does get back to you right away. It's not you're going to be waiting a week or two for, like, the way it is. Like, if you call your insurance company or whatever, and we'll get back to you. You're not going to wait. Anything further, Mr. Catalano?
Thank you. Been very informative sitting in on this. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. We try to be. All right. Nothing further there? Comments? No. We had a nice meeting, and I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
Motion to adjourn?
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, the meeting is adjourned at 9:44. Thank you, everybody, and see you in 3 months.
Have a great day.
See you.
Bye now.
Everybody
You too. Have
Bye.
a great day.
Take care.